Are you Tony Stank?
I am Iron Man.
Stank, stank, stank.
Genius billionaire playboy from up the east.
You stank. You stank.
I am Iron Man.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Stark or Stank. My name is Aaron and I'm here with Josh.
Hello, it's the podcast that refuses to die.
It's still going. We're here. We did it 2 weeks in a row, baby.
Yeah, no, look, this is the start of a roll, right?
Yep, that's it.
And we only have to watch a movie this week. It's going to be great.
Well, next week we'll watch a movie.
This week coming.
This coming week we will watch a movie. Remember when this
How
used to be
novel.
about movies? Crazy. What a time to be alive. This week we are talking about a series called Loki. Now, this only just hit me today.
Mm-hmm.
We're only talking about the first season of Loki. There's a second season coming. So at some point, we will have to talk about the second season of Loki. And I don't know if we're going to rank it on its own
The series?
or just re-rank the whole series.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't considered this. Uh-oh.
I just thought about this
Oh, fuck.
today.
Oh, God, it's all falling apart.
So, I think the best thing to do is have an episode where we talk about the second season and then re-rank the whole series.
Yeah, well, look, if we're doing this on Letterboxd as we have been doing, I don't, like, they wouldn't add a series as its own separate thing, right?
No.
A season, rather.
That's right.
So I think that's going to have to be how it works.
Yeah.
So, I feel like this is going to place fairly well.
Mm-hmm.
Not to call any shots right now or anything,
Sure.
but I know you're going to fight for it. And I feel pretty positively about it
Mm-hmm.
overall. So it's really up to season 2 on whether this stays at a fairly high spot or if
Yep.
it shits the bed and we put it below Iron Man 2.
Yeah, exactly. Below, it would really have to. Oh my god,
It
that
would
would
have to
be
real bad.
that would be the biggest drop in quality since.
Like, man, they really
I don't know.
fumbled that.
Holy shit! Since Heroes.
It's like going from like seasons 1 through 7 of The Simpsons to season 23 in a fucking instant.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, season 1 of Heroes.
Mm.
Great. Top-notch TV. One of the best seasons of
I
TV
recall
ever
loving
made. Season 2, one of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life.
I don't think I've seen a single episode of season 2 of Heroes.
Ah, you're lucky. Ah.
So Heroes as a concept remains evergreen in my mind.
Of course, yes. Lucky you. You didn't have to put up with Siler's road trip. That's literally
Nope.
what the bad guy from the first season is. He's just on a fucking road trip.
Yeah, I feel like that's ringing bells, but yeah, nothing stuck.
Yeah.
If I did see any of season 2, there's none of it up here.
Yes. Well, anyway, we're talking about Loki this week.
Sure are, not Heroes.
This is
That's
Marvel's.
a different podcast.
Yeah, that's where we do our Heroes recap.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh no.
Oh god, no! I didn't even watch that when Heroes Reborn when they brought it back for
Oh, I forgot about
however
that.
many episodes. I don't know how long
Jesus.
that was. Anyway, this is Marvel Studios' first villain-centric project and the first MCU Disney Plus show to be renewed for a second season. One of the original ideas for the show had Loki popping up throughout human history as an unlikely influence on historical events, which is what I remember it being pitched as when we first knew it was happening.
That's gonna come back later
Yeah.
when we talk about things.
hmm The Time Variance Authority headquarters was inspired by the Atlanta Marriott Marquis Hotel, a 50-story building with a distinctive atrium chamber that spans the whole length of the building and has elevators and bridges. I looked it up. You know the shot where Loki and Mobius
Mobius, not Morbius.
I
Oh,
wanna s-
damn it. It's Morbid time. Shit.
Are in the elevator and they're going down. There's like just you can see all the levels. That's literally what the inside of this building looks like. That's
Oh, man.
it. That is the building.
That's fucking cool.
I know, it's sick. I looked it up. It's fucking rad looking.
Spoilers. Both Aaron and I very much appreciate the look of a lot of things in the show, including the TVA.
Yes. The first trailer for the second season received over 80 million online views within the first 24 hours. That's more than any other Disney Plus series, surpassing She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, which ended up at 78 million in the first 24 hours. So, yes, season 2, hype is real.
If there's one thing people love, it's Loki. Like, I feel like Loki will be forever beloved by people who even just vaguely care about the MCU.
Yeah. And the first season, it was well liked. I think it got pretty good reviews from what I remember.
Generally positive.
So, I can see why a season 2 trailer would be well received. And before we get into actually talking about the plot of the show, what are your overall thoughts on Loki season 1, Josh?
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I like some aspects of it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There's not much I don't like about it. But I do feel like I would have preferred a different version of this show.
Yeah.
Similar to the one that was pitched originally.
Yeah. You weren't like a Doctor Who villain of the week or like a adventure of the
literally
week.
Doctor Who Adventure of the Week style thing, but with Loki instead of the Doctor. That in my brain is just like, yeah, that would be fucking cool.
Yeah.
There's the potential for that sort of setup to veer too far into fan service, especially with stuff like Marvel Comics and that much like backlog in history.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure I would trust the Marvel Studios of today to not veer too heavily into that. But like at the time, that concept sounded fucking sick. And I'm still a little bit bummed that they didn't run with that. What we got is cool, but I don't know if it's as cool.
Excuse me. I didn't really have any hopes for this show going in. Like I thought the trailers looked cool. But going into it, I wasn't hyped for it, and I wasn't like super excited to watch it really. And the first episode I remember didn't really do it for me. It wasn't only until like the third episode I was really understood where they were going, what they were doing with it, and it was really interesting from that point on. But so maybe that's where my love of, because overall I really do like this show a lot.
Expectations.
I had low expectations, and then it far exceeded them for me. So
that's fair.
Maybe that's the difference.
I can't really argue with that.
Yeah. So now let's talk about the plot of Loki. This comes from a shit website I wouldn't visit unless I never visit. Immediately after seizing the Tesseract as a result from the actions of time-displaced Avengers, Loki is arrested by the Time Variance Authority for creating a branched timeline and is taken into their headquarters. Following an extensive screening process, Judge Ravonna Renslayer sentences the God of Mischief to be pruned, but I like how it doesn't explain what that is in the synopsis. It's just like, it's going to prune him. Of course. Who wouldn't know what that is?
Yeah, you know, you prune people all the time.
Exactly. It's just a thing that happens every day.
You just leave him in water too long and he starts to prune up.
That's it.
Shit.
Oh my god, I'd love if that's actually what happened.
That's a weird show right there.
Yeah, it is. But Agent Mobius Mobius intervenes and instead takes him into a time theater for interrogation. As Loki contemplates his ability to possess free will in a predetermined timeline, Mobius shows him his intended future in the sacred timeline, which includes his role in the death of his adoptive mother. Loki is left in disbelief. When Mobius momentarily leaves the room for a briefing with Hunter B-15, Loki manages to escape and retrieves the confiscated Tesseract. However, he discovers it is powerless in the TVA. B-15 rushes to prune Loki, but he returns to the... now every time I see the word prune, that's all I'm going to think about. But
Loki in the tub.
Loki in the tub, just being all wrinkly. But he returns to the Time Theater and uncovers more of his future, from his strengthened bond with Thor to his death at Thanos' hands. And that's pretty much episode 1.
It sure is. It is funny that Endgame gives us basically a fresh start with Loki. Well, not fresh, but a bit of a retcon. Take Loki back to pre-Thor: The Dark World, where we can, run around and have fun with this villain Loki. And then the very first episode decides to unretcon him by having him do his character development that he got across all these movies by watching his character development across these movies. It's not quite the same.
Yeah.
But it feels like it's going for that sort of effect, and it comes out with, like, I don't know, Loki, and it's a weird move to make, the retcon unretcon double switch.
I don't think it's an unretcon. I think like Loki needs to have this information. Like, he needs to know what happened after.
Sure.
And
sure.
But
I just feel like it's meant to, just in terms of, like, we need to have Loki kind of be the likable Loki that we have by the end of his time in the MCU, by the end of Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And this is the fast way to do it. And it makes sense, but it's also like, this seems weird that we would just revert to that version of Loki only to have him kind of fast track his character development a bit.
Yeah. I guess.
It does, but then it doesn't even necessarily do that. He is still kind of a villainous shit, but the seeds are planted there for the character development to happen along the course of these 6 episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I don't mind it. Like, I think he does need to know that stuff, so it's fine. And it doesn't just, he doesn't just automatically just, like, change. He doesn't.
No,
he's not like all of a sudden, oh, I've now got all this knowledge and therefore I'm caught back up to where I was and now I'm the same as I was.
Yeah, we haven't just clicked undo and then clicked redo
right.
onto Loki.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a weird thing. Good face acting in that bit, though. I remember calling this out, like, at the time, watching it live, just like, man, that's some fucking good face acting from Hiddleston there.
Hiddleston's good in this whole show. It's great.
You got the fucking tear. It's good. It's good stuff. You know who else is surprisingly fucking good is Owen Wilson.
Yeah, he's really enjoyable and fun, and he's Owen Wilson.
Charming, like, folksy kind of dude.
Yeah, he's great.
And the mustache, like old Owen Wilson with the mustache, is working. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Mobius later recruits Loki to respond to a renegade Loki variant who had been attacking the TVA's Minutemen in various time periods. Loki, Mobius, and B-15 travel to a 1985 Wisconsin branch in search of the variant who had kidnapped Hunter C-20. They are, however, forced to reset the timeline once Loki stalls for too long. Seeking to use their Loki to understand and help the variant, Mobius assists Loki in testing a theory for finding it hiding within apocalyptic events. They travel to 79 AD, Pompeii, and warn the locals of the impending destruction of the city. No branches are formed, so the pair return to the TVA to investigate details of other apocalypses to discern where the variant is most likely to hide. A hurricane in 2050 Alabama is selected, so Loki, Mobius, and B-15 accompany a Minutemen unit there. The variant, aware of their arrival, enchants B-15 and various civilians to interact with and attack Loki. As the variant reveals herself as a female Loki, Mobius finds C-20, who reveals she had given up the classified location to the creator of the TVA, the Timekeepers.
So, the tech of the TVA is fucking cool.
Yes.
You see, like, we're introduced to a lot of it in the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like the time displacement baton,
Yeah.
where you can smack someone and they just experience that instant for, what was it, like 1/100th? At 1/100th the speed or something.
It's
See all the cheek
slow.
ripples.
Yes.
It's very slow. You get to see the fucking collar where you can you can rewind people in time to where they were, but you can't rewind the furniture around them. So
No.
if things happen with that furniture and them, then it's a bit wonky. But
Mm-hmm.
it's fun stuff.
I like a lot of the
there's that
TVA
gate that
stuff.
fucking destroys people if they're an android.
Yeah. What if I don't know I'm an android? Yeah, I like a lot of the TVA stuff. A lot of the design, a lot of the like retro future art deco sort of
This,
design.
It gave me like a, what if Control wasn't brutalist as fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
And was instead, we went for the Art Deco, like
Mhm.
70s sort of office aesthetic.
Yeah. That's what it is, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I love it. I love a lot of the design stuff. The music's fucking great.
Yep. Even
Yeah.
little things like the little hourglass slash, I guess it's a Mobius strip
Mhm.
design on everything. It's
Yep.
subtle in some places, not so subtle in other places. Like it's on the fucking elevator doors and shit.
Yep.
It's a really good attention to detail in
Mhm.
that place.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a real place despite it being absolutely fucking out of this world.
Yeah. Yeah, TVA stuff's all good, and the reveal that there's a female variant of Loki, and
There had to be at least one. The fact that there's not more than one so far is kind of wild.
right. Yeah. Oh, the Pompeii scene's fun.
Yep.
Just them going to Pompeii and just telling everyone they're gonna die, and
He's just screaming in what I assume is ancient Greek.
yeah.
That, hey, we're part of the Time Variance Authority. You people are all fucked. Bye-bye. The, what was it, 2050 Alabama hurricane?
Yeah.
That's like a Roxxon Walmart
Mm-hmm.
type deal.
Yeah.
That's weird. Hate that. You don't want fuel companies having their own shopping centers.
Oh, one day. I mean, they
Surprised it hasn't happened already.
kind of do already.
Yeah, they got like, you can go to the Caltex and get some milk, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's not quite the same.
It's exactly the same.
Shit, he's right.
Yeah, all good stuff. The variant uses a stash of reset charges to bomb the sacred timeline and create multiple branches, forcing the TVA into action. As she leaves Alabama for the TVA headquarters through a time door, Loki gives chase and leaves Mobius behind. He attempts to recruit the variant to help him take down the Timekeepers, but his efforts fall flat. When Renslayer arrives, Loki uses a Tempad to transport himself and the variant to 2077 Lamentus 1, a moon doomed to collide with a planet in a few hours. With a planet.
Yep.
Did they not say the name of the planet?
What was it, Lamentus 1?
Well,
Lamentus?
the Lamentus
the name
1
of
is
the
the moon? That's what this says. I don't know. Who knows?
That place where they shot that really cool one.
Yeah.
Is that why episode 3 got you?
Yeah, exactly. It's the end of the episode. So fucking good.
God damn it. You and fucking Wanners.
Love them. With the device low on power and stuck within Loki, the variant revealing her alias as Sylvie Laufey-Dota.
I mean, it's technically correct.
That is correct. I didn't think about the fact that That was her last
Sylvie
name.
Laufey daughter.
Laufey daughter. Is forced to team up with him to survive. The quest to scour for sufficient power sources comes up fruitless, but they learn from a Lamentian homesteader about the Ark, a spacecraft the two hypothesize to be able to recharge the Tempad. But while attempting to fair evade a train to the launch base, the fair evade.
It's fair evasion. Look, you always get caught up on the smallest things, like Al Capone for tax evasion.
These criminals and their fair evasion.
And pay for the bus.
Oh,
What
goodness.
a bastard. God of mischief indeed.
Up until now, I've given Loki so much. I've forgiven every murder, but fair evasion.
It's a bridge too far.
The guards force Loki and Sylvie out, breaking the device in the process. Forced to travel on foot, Loki and Sylvie plan to hijack the Ark and launch it early to avoid certain doom. Along the way, Sylvie reveals to Loki that while enchanting C20 for Enchanting 2020 for information on the timekeepers, she discovered repressed memories of a life C20 previously had on Earth. Loki learns those who work for the TVA are variants themselves, having been abducted from the sacred timeline.
Yeah, so this is where it becomes less of a time and space hopping shenanigans show to dark, shadowy organization mystery show. Things are not all as they seem, which is wild because the TVA is so fucking fantastical that nothing could have possibly been as it really seemed, and yet it's somehow more mysterious than that.
Yeah, I mean the TVA is just a crazy concept. So it's ripe for this kind of stuff. It's like you got to uncover the mystery of what the fuck's going on here. Like
they are so mysterious and strange and powerful that they couldn't possibly not have secrets.
Right, exactly. Again, enjoyed this episode, especially the one at the end, which watching the actual making of that, they built that whole sort of little town and ran around.
Neon City set.
Yeah,
it's fucking sick.
I always love when they build little towns like that. And
I do love a little town.
I do love a little town for movies and stuff.
Hey, Thor 1 is still fairly high on our rankings, all things considered. They built a little town for that.
They did, but it wasn't a cool town.
No, but it was like a real little town almost.
Sure. They didn't do any one-ers, just Dutch angles. That's all we got.
So many. Look, what it lacked in one-ers we made up for in Dutch angles. All of our camera stands were broken, okay? So the synopsis mentioned the reset bombs that they use for pruning timelines, and it dawned on me that we haven't explained what fucking pruning is. The synopsis hasn't.
Right.
But it's kind of fucked up. They just destroy entire they destroy entire timelines and people in theory.
Yeah.
But how many people do we see get pruned? Because I feel like, personally, there's that one guy who didn't get a ticket.
There's one guy
at the start.
Yeah. And then some of the... When there's a fight later, some of the guards do.
Inadvertent, yeah.
Yeah.
But only one person has been, pruned officially, we meant to prune that guy. And it was the ticket guy. Who was that guy? He's also the only non-Loki, non-TVA guy we see in the TVA at any point. Yeah. Unless he is a Loki.
Maybe.
I just got questions. Who the fuck is that guy? Also, where was he later? Because you'll see.
Yeah, the whole, I mean, again, TVA is sketchy as fuck. So just being able to just make people disappear.
You can never trust bureaucracy.
Just because they don't have a ticket. And then setting off the reset bombs. We don't really see what that really does. We just
The implication is enough, I think.
sure, but I don't know.
They have sticks that can fucking destroy people from the timeline.
Mm-hmm. They
It's
certainly
not
do.
that far of a reach to be like. They also have bombs that just do that en masse.
Mm-hmm.
Everything gets wiped.
But like, if people are meant to be in the timeline, they're not gonna get pruned. They're just gonna be reset, right?
Well, I mean, they reset the delinquent branches, right? By
Right.
getting rid of the branches, and then the branch no longer exists, and so the timeline can continue as it was meant to.
Right.
It's
Anyway,
basically like
they don't explain it for a reason.
Yeah, no, because timey-wimey bullshit gets fucking stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Arriving at the launch base, Loki and Sylvie dash to the Ark, but are only able to witness its destruction. Preparing for their demises, the two continue to bond, eventually beginning to hold hands. This, however, creates a unique branch in the sacred timeline, and the TVA arrests the duo in the nick of time. What were they going to do? In the nick of time.
What were they going to do? They were going to die.
before they hold two hands.
This is one of the things that I'm like, I have to know what the consequences of that are, because like they were pretty hopeless. They were literally about to die.
Yep.
How could they have possibly gotten out of that situation?
Mm.
What was so insane about them holding hands and like forming a connection?
Yeah.
That could have possibly have caused that much disruption that close to the end. We will never know. I doubt that's ever going to get explained.
Nope. Before being thrown into a time cell, Loki informs Mobius of his own variant nature. A confused Mobius...
I love that everything in the TVA is just whack time in front of it. Put him in the time cell.
The time cell. What's different? What's different about the time cell? It's just a cell.
There's a clock on the wall.
The clock on the wall. You can tell the time.
It's broken. Don't tell anyone. They'll freak the fuck out.
We don't have double A's in the TVA, okay?
Batteries are hard to come by. These sticks don't power themselves.
Loki informs Mobius of his own variant nature. A confused Mobius then relays this information to B-15, who begins to recognize memories of her own previous life due to Sylvie's enchantment on her. In the time cell, Loki is verbally and physically abused by Sif continuously in a time loop, eventually forcing him to confess to his narcissism. While celebrating Sylvie's capture with Renslayer, Mobius swaps his tempad out with hers and excuses himself to the library, where he finds a recording of C20 that affirms to him of his variant origins. After retrieving Loki from his temporal incarceration, Mobius is pruned by Renslayer, who had learned of the tempad swap. She then takes Loki and Sylvie to the Timekeeper's chamber, where the reformed B-15 assists the two to fight. After knocking out Renslayer, Sylvie then uses her weapon to reveal that the Timekeepers were actually phony animatronics.
The fact that they are animatronics.
Animatronics.
Not just like holograms or something stupid like that. They're actual robots.
They're actually...
Okay, Chuck E. Cheese up here.
They're actually robots made by Disney Imagineers.
Oh no, Abe Lincoln. He's one of the Time Lords. Fuck.
They're actually reconstituted It's a Small World After All robots.
The horror. Oh god. One just starts breaking into song. Oh damn it.
Why do they laugh? When that one gets its head cut off, the other two just laugh at it.
And then they power down. They were programmed to be shits until the end.
So funny.
You motherfucker. Like the thing's just sitting there dead. And they're just up there laughing their asses off. Like, I mean, that would break my mind. If I hadn't already gone insane in the TVA, I'd be like, what is happening? Somehow, like, robotic animatronic puppetry is weirder than, like, Space Lizard Time Lord. Like,
Yeah.
you got me, time. You got me, TVA. I guess I'm the asshole for thinking it was space lizards. Fuckers.
Very good. Anyway, again, another good episode.
Yes, very good.
Very good. Good to see. They had to get their little bit of fan service in, so we got Sif to come back for a little bit.
Yeah, I always love Sif.
Yeah, always underutilized.
Although she does get to knee Loki in the balls a bunch.
Multiple times. It's great.
I don't know if that's underutilization. I think that's perfect in my book. Fuck that guy.
She was the most well utilized in Loki.
It's true. Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah, no.
It's not even close, which is kind of sad.
It's really not. Yeah, anyway, good episode. And
there's some really fun action scenes in this.
There are, yeah.
There's nothing that gets me as fucking hyped as there is in Falcon and Winter Soldier, but there's a really good choreography, and the fucking time sticks, for lack of a better word, are very fun to have in these sequences because you get to see people fucking disintegrate.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Oh yeah, shit, the stakes are high. And also, they've got a spear on the other end because fuck you. Sometimes you just gotta stab.
Yeah. If you don't want to disintegrate,
it's not
just
enough
stab
to erase
him.
you from the timeline. I just gotta stab a bitch. Give me it.
Yeah, that's great. Good stuff. And this is where we realize that Renslayer is very. We're talking about underutilization. She doesn't do much in this show. She just kind of exists for most of it, and then at the end here, she's she has the same sort of thing of what's going on. I don't know what this is either.
Ominously coy for a lot of it.
Yeah.
And then when everything, the curtains ripped away, she gets to be everything I knew was a lie. But she also takes it in a different way to almost everyone else.
Yeah. Well, she's the company. She's all about the company.
Man.
Yeah.
She's the man.
She's the man. She is the man. So, of course, but
not the man.
Not the man, but she's
man's later.
Sure. All of that gets taken away from us, and all of a sudden it's well, what the fuck am I going to do now?
This is all I've got left.
Exactly.
I've fucking disintegrated so many people and stabbed so many others.
Anyway, yeah, just thought I'd bring that up, that she doesn't get to do much.
No, she doesn't, but the little that she gets to do, she's quite good at.
Yes.
Stupid name though, Renslayer.
Yeah, well, she's very different from what she is in the comics too. So.
Well, yeah, probably for the best.
Maybe.
Some of those comic things get real dumb.
No way. Comics dumb?
Comics are weird.
Never.
What?
As Sylvie prepares their next move, Loki prepares to confess his feelings to her, but is pruned by a recovered Renslayer. Sylvie disarms Renslayer and attempts to interrogate her on the origins of the TVA, but finds she is also clueless. Instead, Renslayer informs her that Loki is alive in a void at the end of time, where Sylvie realizes that no branching timelines can be made due to the uncertainty surrounding time's end. When Renslayer uses Miss Minutes to summon a Minutemen unit to her aid, Sylvie prunes herself and is retrieved by Mobius in the void. Meanwhile, Loki meets the classic kid, boastful, and alligator variants of himself as they all run from the storm-like entity named Alioth, which...
Yep.
How would you spell that?
Aliath.
That's correct.
Was that supposed to be a gotcha? How stupid is this spelled?
I wouldn't say that. It's just that's not how I was expecting it to be spelled. I thought it started with an A, not an A.
I gotta point out that was a guess. I didn't actually know that ahead of time.
I thought it was Eliath, not Aliath.
Right. Like Elias, but with a lisp.
Exactly.
Sure.
Anyway,
I could hear that.
their attempt to take refuge in a bunker fail as boastful Loki betrays them to try to ally with President Loki. Good old President Loki.
Don't blame me. I voted for Kang.
In the brawl that follows, classic Loki
It's
leads.
got so many layers, that joke.
It does. I didn't think about that.
I didn't either.
Oh, I
It
can't
only
believe
occurred to
it.
me 'cause
I didn't. I missed it completely.
It only occurred to me because I fucked up the line. I voted for Kodos.
Yeah. I was like, okay, yeah, you can vote for Kang if you want. Didn't even think about it.
Shit. Oh, I'm a genius. I shouldn't have called it out on stream. Fuck. Everyone knows I'm just a fraud. Oh god. Jesus Christ. Are you okay?
I'm back. Theorizing Eliath to be only a gatekeeper to the true creator of the TVA, Sylvie devises a plan to enchant and neutralize the beast. This is what happens when you make me laugh, you son of a bitch.
I'm sorry, I'm such a comedic fucking talent.
Loki chooses to remain with Sylvie. Mobius returns to the TVA to inform everyone there of their variant nature. And Kid Loki hands Loki his weapon. Classic Kid and Alligator Loki begin to walk away, but Classic Loki returns to assist Loki and Sylvie, sacrificing himself in the process.
I really wish they hadn't, like, distinguished the Lokis. I wish it was all just Loki.
Loki hands Loki his knife. Loki goes and helps Loki and Sylvie. Oh.
This is ridiculous.
Anyway, classic
It's already
Loki's
way
rad.
better.
Classic Loki
fuck,
in that.
So good.
In that fucking. Oh my god.
This
so good.
stupid leotard without any muscles, and he's got the big dumb horns.
Giant
he's
horns.
Fantastic.
So good. All of the different Lokis, the variants are really good.
This is my thing, right? Is I kind of wanted this to be the entire show.
Yep.
And they save it for the second last episode, and they don't really do a lot of it in the last one. If I'm remembering that right.
There's none of it in the last episode. Is pretty much 40 minutes of talking to Kang. So
yeah, no, I am remembering that right then.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Lokis are fantastic. Alligator Loki doesn't have any fucking lines to say because he's an alligator, but he's very good. That is a good alligator.
Yep. Yeah, I love all the different Lokis and seeing all the different variants, and it's fan servicey without calling attention to itself, which is
President Loki getting his fucking hand chomped off and screaming the best scream.
Yeah, very good.
And yeah, like fucking, I don't know. I could go on all day about how fucking cool the Lokis are. Boastful Loki is fucking sick. Love his look. Love his whole deal. Kid Loki's great. It's all great.
With Eliath neutralized, the two cross a portal unveiled from the storm to infiltrate the Citadel at the end of time. Encountering Miss Minutes inside, she unsuccessfully tempts with a personalized offer from the true creator of the TVA, He Who Remains. Loki and Sylvie later meet He Who Remains himself, who informs them he had orchestrated their entry into his Citadel and has them sit down for a chat. Meanwhile, Miss Minutes is ordered by Renslayer to retrieve files regarding to the TVA's founding, but she instead receives files about He Who Remains. Mobius arrives and informs Renslayer her variant nature is now known to all due to a coordinated effort between him and B-15. Following an argument regarding the free will of the variants, Mobius attempts to prune Renslayer when she opens a time door, but she easily disarms him. Instead of pruning Mobius again, Renslayer simply leaves the TVA headquarters to find her free will.
And she just fucking bounces.
Mhm.
I love that He Who Remains, his whole thing is just, I planned for this.
Until I don't know anything anymore. It turns out.
Right. No.
Yeah. Now I'm just gonna sit here and hope you don't kill me, but if you want to kill me, go for it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like chew the scenery for a bit. Hope that's okay.
Yeah.
And it
You know what? I don't know what's happening with Jonathan Majors in real life at the moment. But this was a great introduction to Kang, and his performance is fucking amazing.
Yeah. He absolutely steals that last episode.
He does, yeah,
He's
absolutely.
very good.
Yeah.
Like when you said the last episode is basically Kang talking for 40 minutes.
Mhm.
It's like, yeah, and on paper that sounds boring as shit, but my god, does he make it compelling?
No, it's really good. He's really good.
I've forgotten this entire time to talk about Miss Minutes. Miss Minutes is great. I love
Yes.
Miss Minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait for more Miss Minutes.
Tara Strong doing the voice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Miss Minutes is great, and she's back for season 2.
Imagine hiring actual voice actors for voice roles.
That's crazy. Who'd do that?
Don't know. Not me.
Not DreamWorks, that's for sure. He Who Remains reveals... not DreamWorks, not Illumination either.
Honestly, not Disney a lot of the time.
Not since Aladdin.
No, it's not for a while.
Aladdin ruined it for everyone. I mean, Aladdin had like Robin Williams. That was like the first like big stunt casting voice thing in a Disney movie. It was like, we're gonna make him like the main huge character in this movie, and it was such a big thing that it was like, well, now we're just gonna keep doing it.
Pretty much.
Anyway, back to Loki. He Who Remains reveals to Loki and Sylvie that he had founded the TVA in the aftermath of the multiversal war in order to prevent the rise of his malicious variants. He then gives the two a gambit: kill him and unleash his variants, or take over the TVA in his place. As the sacred timeline begins to form multiple branches, Sylvie, having lost her family to the TVA, rushes to kill he. That's literally what it says.
I mean, look, his name is He Who Remains. He doesn't have another name.
Okay. So his middle name is who?
I guess. Yes. Last name remains. HW remains.
But Loki, not wanting to risk the prospect of a multiversal crisis, comes to his protection. That's so weird. After a brief struggle...
You could have made it less weird by saying the man at the end of time's protection, but they didn't want to do that.
After a brief struggle, Loki and Sylvie's emotional bond reach an apex and they kiss. But Sylvie opens a time door using He's Tempad and sends Loki back to the TVA. He Who Remains, having grown weary, does not resist when Sylvie kills him with her sword. The sacred timeline now destroyed, Sylvie collapses in regret over her murder, and Loki is left heartbroken about his lost love.
Is it regret? I don't think it's explicitly called out as regret. I think the synopsis might be reading too much into that.
Yeah, I doubt she doesn't have a huge regret about it, but also I'm
sure she regrets like the Loki part of this, but not necessarily killing He Who Remains.
She didn't fully believe that he said. She didn't fully believe it was going to happen. Bluffing. Yeah, exactly. And so I think that she does feel a little bit like, oh yeah, I definitely did.
Oh god, I fucked up.
I may have fucked up a little bit here.
Might have screwed the pooch.
But also, I got to kill that guy, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, fuck that
guy. He just wouldn't shut up for like 40 minutes. And yeah, I love that they just fully go in on Loki loving another version of himself. I love that. That's the fucking main thrust of this show, that he just becomes infatuated with himself, and
No one loves Loki like Loki.
Exactly. It's fucking amazing. It's like one of the best parts of this show for me. It's so fucking funny.
It is very good. Yeah, so wait, is that the end? That can't be the
No,
end of the
we got
synopsis.
a little thing that happens. Loki then rushes to the library where he encounters Mobius and B-15, attempting to warn them about variants of He Who Remains. They don't recognize him. Loki then notices a lone statue of a variant of He Who Remains in the place of the 3 Timekeeper statues, a regime change as a result of the multiversal crisis. Da da da.
So that begs some questions. These are then, I guess, variants of Mobius and B-15, as they don't know who Loki is. I wonder if that's going to be addressed moving forward into season 2, or if Loki will just somehow get his Mobius back, somehow.
Yeah, I don't know if they're variants or if they are the same and the time has been reset.
It's just earlier in the timeline and they just haven't met it. Maybe.
It's hard to say. We'll find out in season 2 of Loki.
We'll find out in time.
Exactly. In time. But for now, we just have to guess.
I can hear your soul drifting away.
In time, as I turn to dust.
Yep, it's happening to us all.
Mm-hmm.
Some quicker than others.
Sure. I don't think that's how time works. I think it all happens at the same time.
Stop saying time.
Time happens at the same time.
No, hate that.
Let's now talk about our Starks and Stanks for Loki.
Now, I went first last week.
And now it is time for me.
I guess it's your turn.
To start
Your
with
turn to undercut me.
My Starks for Loki. Stylistically,
Please.
One of the more unique MCU things. Retro future art deco, music, etc. I really love the style of this show, the aesthetics, the auditory, all of it.
Oral is the word you're looking for.
Auditory.
A-U-R-A-L.
Auditory is also a word.
Yeah, but not auditorial. I wouldn't use it, but sure.
Anyway.
You do you, fam.
Yeah. I really like the style of this show. It's it's good to watch. It's fun to listen to.
It's good to watch, yes. No, I generally agree with the sentiment. My first Stark is very much along similar lines, where I think the set design and costumes of this show are fantastic. They play into the aesthetic of the aesthetic of the TVA is such a big part of this show and what makes it enjoyable for me. And yeah, they fucking nail it. It's unique, but it's familiar in a lot of ways. It's just weird. It's futuristic, but retro. It's a fucking cool thing.
It is. Good stuff. My second Stark. Oh, your first Stark.
That was my first.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought, and then that's why I was gonna go to mine, and then I was like,
no,
maybe
you're doing great.
Okay,
you're doing
great.
sweetie.
Thank you. My second Stark. All great characters, not an unlikable one in the bunch. I just like all of them. I didn't hate anyone in this show. I thought all the characters were good. Some were underutilized. I would have liked to have seen them do more, but acting wise and just character, how well written everyone was. I really liked everyone in this show. I thought it was great.
Yeah. Similarly, my second Stark is I think Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston play really well off of each other. Their characters and their affects as people. Tom Hiddleston, you get sort of a more proper sort of vibe from him being British and such. And Owen Wilson's Owen Wilson. He once voiced a fucking car.
Sure did. Kerchow.
Kerchow. I don't
Wow.
know, like something about those two. They are so different in terms of like personality and vibe that they like exude.
Sure. Well, disappeared again. Um, surely he'll come back. This happened last week as well. Hello again.
Hello, was it around what was the timing on that? Is it the exact same time?
I don't know. No, because I feel like this is going to be a short episode this week. We've only been going for not even an hour yet. So,
Yeah, well, anyway, yeah, I think those two are just really fun, contrasting sort of characters and styles of people, I guess. It's really interesting to get those
Yeah.
two in a room. They play off each other well.
They do, yeah. All right, now on
Now
to
tell me
the
what you hate about this
Stanks.
show.
I've talked about it already, really. Ravonna is underutilized and doesn't get to do much, and maybe we'll see more of her and her backstory in season 2. Even though it is obviously more, it's not the same as in the comics, but be good to see her.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, right? Because Renslayer in the comics is like on a personal vendetta against Kang, right? She's hunting him down.
Yeah.
And I guess they
Well,
could roll that into this.
They had a relationship at some point, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I assume so. I don't know. Kang's history is muddled and confusing as it is meant to be. But like I could see them rolling that into this. She seems somewhat miffed about being lied to the whole time, but she's also a company woman, so
yeah,
sure, there's some mixed emotions on that. I'd like to see it, but yeah, you're right. She didn't get nearly enough to do in this. The scenes with her and Mobius are fantastic. They're like the few bits where she really gets to fucking work.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, season 2 it'll be interesting to see if she'll be on the side of like trying to protect the TVA still, or if she'll I don't know, be doing something else.
Has she been in any of the trailer stuff? I don't
remember seeing her. I know she is in the show though. So
okay, cool. Well, that's neat. I agree with that. My first stank is that the potential for weird and wonderful settings and variant Lokis is held off for the most part. We don't get super weird or super wonderful until we go to a completely alien planet in episode 3, and we're there for a bit. Yeah. And then it's back to the TVA. I don't mind the TVA being the main setting for most of this.
Yep.
But you set me up with a premise that allows like time hopping and dimension hopping and all this stuff, and you don't really do a lot with it until the end. Yeah, where it starts getting wild.
And even then, it's like they're just in a void, and then
we're just in like some fucking hills out back.
Yeah, exactly. They're not like hopping through different.
The Thanos copter is there.
The Thanos copter is there.
And
for some reason,
these are things that are there because it was in a timeline that wasn't correct. Just imagine there's a timeline out there that got pruned just because Avengers Infinity War had Thanos rocking up in a fucking yellow helicopter.
I want to see that version.
I also want to see that. Like, see, if we could have seen shit like that, I would have been like, yeah, Loki's fucking stupid and I love it. Now it's just like, Loki's really good. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I agree that they definitely could have done more with the time aspect of it. They had free reign to just do whatever they wanted to with Loki. And they kept it very fairly straightforward. So I can understand where you're coming from there. I don't mind where they went with it. I don't mind it being more character driven. But exactly. I can see where
the final product is good on its own terms, but knowing what it could have been and having my like own ideas of where that sort of premise could have gone, I'm like, it would have been neat. Yeah. What's your second stank?
My second stank might be the same as yours because you mentioned this the other day.
No, I went and made a real one.
Oh, I didn't. I honestly, I couldn't think of another thing I hate about this show. So the logo sucks.
The logo's dog shit. The title logo is so fucking terrible.
It's been down here the whole show. The people have been looking at it, and it's
It
so
is utter
fucking bad.
garbage.
It's the worst logo I've ever seen for a professional product.
It looks like something like I clipped together in year 4.
What if I use a different font for each letter?
Oh. Man, this is gonna make me millions. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I gotta look at this bitch. Where you at? Loki logo.
Terrible logo.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I get what they're going for. I understand the idea behind it.
Mm.
And you know what? 3 of those letters aren't the worst things I've ever seen. I fucking hate that K.
The K is the worst one, yeah.
The K is the worst offender.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's so much wider than the others.
It's so bad. Why does it look like that? No one writes a K like that.
I don't know.
Fucking idiots. Loki, worst show.
Worst logo.
I entirely agree with this, Stank. I didn't think it was big enough to like mention, so I tried to pick something a bit more serious.
I sat here for like 10 minutes trying to think of a different thing, and that's all I came up with.
Okay, well, my second one, and it's not a strong Stank. We've already talked about it a little bit,
Mm.
and it's less that I dislike it. It's more that I think it's a weird way to do it.
Mm.
Is that we've gone back to 2012 Loki, and he's kind of been retconned slightly because he's not the Loki we knew. He's now back to this one.
Yeah.
But now he's got to witness and have the information that the Loki that we knew had. And it's not quite a full, like, re-character development situation. It's a weird thing that's going on here. I don't know.
Mhm.
I just think it's a weird way of handling that. And I'm not sure I can think of a better way to do it.
Right.
But I'm not a writer.
Yeah.
But let's
No,
just
it's a
get
fair
Loki to
thing.
sit down and watch the MCU for a bit, and he'll learn a lesson.
Right.
Maybe he'll get sad. He'll feel feelings, as we all did.
As we all did.
Especially watching Thor: The Dark World.
Ugh. They only
We all
showed him
felt
that one
feelings.
scene from Thor: The Dark World. They didn't show him the rest.
Yeah.
Luckily for him.
Did they show him that one bit of Endgame where Thor is fat, and then he goes home and has that like really genuinely endearing moment where he's like, "I'm still worthy," because Loki would have been just like, "What the fuck? Wait, he got fat? He can get fat?"
No, they as soon as he died,
Really
that was
torn
it.
up about me dying.
As soon as he died, that was it. They didn't show him anything
Oh yeah, I
beyond
guess
that.
he doesn't get to see Bust.
Get to see anything.
then-
Yeah, no, like I said, I agree. Yeah.
It's weird. It's not so much that it's bad, but it sure is weird.
It is a weird thing, for sure. Now, let us rank this bitch.
Lettuce.
Lettuce. Would you like to do the honors of
Reading the list.
reading the list?
All right. So our top 5, we got Captain America: The Winter Soldier,
Yes.
Thor: Ragnarok, Avengers: Endgame, Iron Man 3, Guardians of the Galaxy. And I'm just gonna read the rest of them out.
Mhm.
Avengers: Infinity War, Captain America: Civil War, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Avengers, Black Panther, Captain America: The First Avenger, WandaVision, Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man: Homecoming, Iron Man, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Spider-Man: Far From Home, Thor, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, Avengers: Age of Ultron, The Incredible Hulk, Thor: The Dark World, and right at the bottom, Iron Man 2.
Where it will live forever in infamy.
Until Loki season
Until
2
Loki
shits
season
the bed.
2. No.
Surely not.
Surely not. Even if it's a stinker, season 1 still exists.
It's true.
There's
Season
no
1
way.
does still exist.
There's no way season 2 could be that bad that it pulls down season 1 with it that much. I mean, we don't even know where we're putting this one yet. But we're going to find out right now. Josh, where would you like to put Loki season 1?
Where would I like to put Loki season 1? Well, I think as a total package, it is better than Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I agree.
As much as I love certain aspects of that more than I like most of this, more of this I like on a general level better. I think it's just a better thing. Do I like it as much as WandaVision? And it may occur to you that I'm comparing it to the streamed series and not the movies, because that's easier. They're very similar in that regard because they're all streamed series. Do I think it's better than WandaVision?
WandaVision has that last episode, which I don't love.
Yeah. And the last episode of Loki is very good.
And here's the thing. It's like WandaVision, they're like, oh, it's MCU, so we got to finish on like this big thing, and they do the big fight and things. Loki goes the complete opposite direction. Let's just have a 40-minute episode sitting in a room talking to the new bad guy for the MCU.
Yeah, we're just going to talk to this guy for 45 minutes.
And it's way more compelling than anything that happens in that last episode of WandaVision.
You're right. It is a very, like, if we're just comparing last episodes, totally agree. Loki shits all over WandaVision.
Yeah.
I definitely like the first half of WandaVision more than I like the first half of Loki.
It's fair. But the first few episodes of WandaVision are very good.
Yeah.
All the different sitcoms and stuff.
I think there's just so much to consider going into this, right? Because like a lot of my love for WandaVision is in the practical like recreations of these like types of fucking sitcoms and stuff.
Yes.
Like they were slavish to those references and styles and choices.
Yeah.
And it really pays off. Loki, meanwhile, is not like it's definitely more cinematic MCU in terms of its look and feel, I want to say.
Yeah. I would say it's better looking than a lot of the MCU.
A lot of MCU. Yeah, you're right. You are correct. But a lot of its appeal is in the set design and the like all the attention to detail of the TVA, and I think I appreciate that more than replicating old sitcom stuff, if you know what I mean.
Going for something more original.
Yeah, like we've made something new and weird rather than we've made like it sounds like I'm disparaging it, but we've made something original and new and kind of weird rather than we've replicated this old thing, doing it the old and like right way, which is admirable.
And they do it really well.
Something that already existed. Yeah. Like there's something to be said about doing something that's been done before, but doing it very, very well. But I don't know. I think maybe all of like the cool design choices that go into Loki maybe clinch it for me. So I would say I would put it above WandaVision.
Here's the thing for me.
Yes.
I do like Loki more than WandaVision. Loki is my favorite MCU show so far. That being said, would I say it's better than Doctor Strange? I don't know. Like, yeah, like comparing it to the shows. But
would I say it's better than Doctor Strange? Yes, I would. I think Doctor Strange has one phenomenal scene. which is the scene between Strange and the Ancient One as she's dying. There's the
Right.
lightning storm and that whole scene.
Yeah.
Like that, from start to finish, is a spectacular scene. One of the best in the MCU.
Yeah, but what about like all the buildings falling in on themselves and stuff? All the crazy mirror dimension
looking.
stuff. Yeah,
It's definitely neat looking.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because those are like really cool graphical effects
Mhm.
that I'm sure like people fucking slaved over hot computers making that.
Just
It's just like imagine Tony Stark beating the fucking steel in the Iron Man 1 cave, except it's a computer and then making graphics.
It's a keyboard and they're just bashing it.
Someone's in the back like, maybe this would be easier if you just fingers. Okay, never mind.
No wonder
would
this
it
takes
help
so long
if
to
I
make.
framed? Would it help if I framed this more as like, what are Loki's shortcomings versus Doctor Strange's shortcomings?
Yeah, let's put Loki at 12.
Is 12 where I put it? I don't have
WandaVision
numbers on the
above
on
WandaVision.
the browser version. Yep. I think that's fine.
I don't know. I
would
was just looking at it before, and I was like yes, Loki's like way better than WandaVision to me.
Sure.
But I'm thinking, and then I just saw Doctor Strange. I was like, oh, that movie has so many cool moments to me. Like
it has cool
but
moments.
it's mostly just like the cool action and stuff.
It has really cool like visual effects. It's got the cool like opening of Strange's mind where he gets fucking shot into space, and there's all the hands with the little baby hands.
Yeah,
like there's cool visuals for sure. There's cool visuals in Loki too, but they're all mostly like in terms of set design and costuming and more practical, like detail oriented things.
Yeah. From a plot perspective, though, and from character perspective, I'd say Loki is better than Doctor Strange.
Look, Doctor Strange is pretty by the numbers. It's a superhero origin story, but with magic.
Yes.
Cool stuff happens in it, but like my argument here would be, is it better than Ant-Man?
Yes.
Because Ant-Man is a very like specifically comedy thing here.
Yeah.
And I feel like that needs to be graded on a different scale.
This is the thing when we're comparing the MCU, is like a lot of this stuff's different, especially now that we're talking about the TV shows. Next week we have Black Widow, and
we're back into the realm of like with Black Widow we're back into the realm of like Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Fucking Winter Soldier, I guess. Into that espionage realm, and it's so disparate.
And then we got a show that's just animated, like little separate
wish fulfillment.
Things. Yeah, so it's like it's just happens with the MCU that you
are literally comparing apples and oranges.
Exactly.
In some cases.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's a fucking weird one.
Just have to just think about them as your overall enjoyment, and also
and we're never going back to like alter rankings on this. Once they are locked in, they're locked in. We're not fixing any of these after the fact,
except for Loki.
And
apparently.
I feel pretty well series, is we've already said at the top of this episode, they're gonna have to live by certain different rules.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Loki at 12 seems fine.
I think it's a good 12.
Yeah. It's definitely like above the mark of this is quite good, which is the Iron Man mark.
It's above Iron Man. But
it's above it's above the shit mark, which is not shit. It's above the this is getting rough mark at Age of Ultron by a long margin.
Yeah,
wide margin.
It's below First Avenger, above WandaVision. That's a good place to be.
I think so.
All right.
I'm comfortable with that.
Let's do it. Loki, season 1. Yeah.
Not Loki season 1. Loki
Hmm.
is at number 12.
Loki for now
Yes, Loki for now.
is at number
Until it
12.
shits the bed.
Until season 2 comes out and we have to re-rank it.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll stay there. Who knows?
Yeah, in the event that the season is just like fine, I don't think it goes down any.
No.
I don't think it goes up any at all. We'll see. It's gonna be weird.
We will see.
So yeah, those the final rankings as of how many weeks into this thing are we? How many?
Well, we now have 26 on the list.
Okay, the final rankings as of episode 26 of Stark or Stank. Captain America the Winter Soldier at number 1, Thor Ragnarok number 2, Avengers Endgame number 3, Iron Man 3 number 4, Guardians of the Galaxy number 5, Avengers Infinity War at number 6, Captain America Civil War at number 7, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 at number 8, The Avengers at number 9, Black Panther at number 10, Captain America the First Avenger at number 11, and Loki at number 12, with all the other ones that I said before after it.
Yes, that is correct. And there we go. Loki is
You're pretty
our
happy with
number
that?
12. I'm very happy with that. Yes.
Did you think you were going to have to work harder for that?
I thought I was, but you just went and put it right there, which is.
I'm trying my best to be somewhat objective about this.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Next week, we will be talking about Black Widow, just the movie, a single
I'm
movie.
excited.
I'm also excited.
I haven't watched a movie in ages.
I haven't watched a movie in ages, and I also haven't watched Black Widow since just after it came out on home release. So
Yeah, I think I've watched it twice.
yeah, I watched it in cinemas and
Maybe
I watched
not
it
even
once at
twice in
home.
full. You watched it in cinemas?
Yeah,
It came straight to Disney Plus.
didn't?
We were in lockdown when that came out.
Nah. Black Widow
Were we not?
cinemas. Well, what date did it come out? Black Widow release. July 2021. We were not in lockdown. Because if we were, I wouldn't have seen it in cinemas.
It was simultaneously available on streaming the day after.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's where I watched it.
That's where you watched it.
I was like, fuck going back to the cinema.
Yeah, no. I went and watched that. I have seen every single Marvel movie in a cinema.
Fuck you.
So there we
How
go.
dare you.
Something you can never say ever again. Because
Sure.
you missed the very important Black Widow movie.
It's a shame. That movie should have been more important than it was.
Yeah, it really should
It
have
really
been.
wasn't.
Maybe they should have released it like 4 years before they did.
Maybe they should have made a Black Widow movie fucking multiple years before that.
Uh-huh. But they didn't. They did it
didn't.
when they did it. And
Yes, they did do it when they did do it.
that's it.
That's correct.
That's what happened. And here we are to review it and rank it next week. Right
Any,
here on Stark or Stank. Forgot the name of that
Any
show.
preliminary thoughts on that film before we get to our rewatch? How do you feel about Black Widow?
It's very
Do you feel about Black Widow?
middling.
Yeah.
It's a movie I
think-
watched and I
Yeah.
went, that was a thing that I enjoyed. I didn't hate it.
Enjoyed? Question mark. I think I liked it.
David
Didn't hate
Harbour's. I remember David Harbour being really good in it.
Yeah. And Florence Pugh's there. And
Florence
she's
Pugh's great.
Florence Pugh.
Yelena is awesome.
Yep.
Apart from that, can't really remember a whole lot.
There's that one Nirvana song.
Ugh. Yeah, there
No?
is. I mean,
Not a fan?
I'm a fan of Nirvana.
That's a weird reaction to that one Nirvana song.
It's not by Nirvana in the movie, though. It's a very slow
Oh, God, is
cover
it?
version,
Oh, God, it is. Shit.
which is not a good way to start a movie. I'm sorry.
Don't you
Slow.
love the slow, like, melancholic
Oh,
rock covers?
there's a movie coming out, The Voyage of the Demeter, the
Oh, the
Dracula.
one?
Yeah. And in the trailer, they play is it Bullet with Butterfly Wings? World is a Vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah. They do just like 2 lines from that song in the trailer. Like it just
Okay.
goes, "World is a vampire, said to Dre." That's it. Like there's different music throughout the trailer, and one section of the trailer just has those 2 lines, and that's the only part of that song in the whole trailer.
It makes me want to watch that movie, I'm not gonna lie.
It kind of looks sick. I don't know if it's going to be good, but it looks
Who knows?
interesting.
It's like modern horror that's so... It's real hit or miss.
This looks very
It's hard to-
2000s horror. Like that
Ooh,
that period
got
of
me.
like those sort of vampire movies they were putting out in that time.
are you trying to say Van Helsing? Like, what are we...
No, like
What kind of vampire movies are we talking about?
is it Dracula 2000? Was that what that was? I feel like that was a movie that exists.
I thought you were gonna say like 40 Days of Night.
Dracula 2000. Which is also known as Wes Craven Presents Dracula 2000.
I don't know. We gotta know that he was presenting it.
He didn't direct it. He's just presenting it.
He just shows up at every screening. He's like, ta-da!
Dracula 2000, you guys. I'm off to direct
Now
screen.
I've got to go to the next screening. Personally shows up at every cinema.
But yeah, like Dracula 2000 and Stigmata, like this kind of era of like
Before vampires were sparkly?
edgy,
Just before then?
edgy Dracula vampires, you know?
Yeah, sure, okay. I can get behind that. I can get behind vampires of most kinds.
But it's also like set on an ye olde boat, so
Well, we're getting way off topic here.
that's okay.
This is a podcast about Marvel movies. But I recently read the book, Bram Stoker's Dracula,
Mhm.
and there's a large section of that book where his coffin's on a boat headed towards England. Is it that? Is it that boat?
It's that.
I'm fucking
They made a movie out of that. The beginning of that book.
That's cool. Because you get the journal entries of the captain from that fucking ship, and he's having a bad time.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it'd be a great
Real
time.
fucking bad time. People
Having
just
a-
start going missing and shit. It's so good.
Having a Batman chasing you around.
Just hear from below decks. Where are the other drugs?
Anyway, thank you so much for listening or watching. We'll see you again next week for Black Widow. Goodbye.
Yeah. Bye.
Are you Tony Stank?
I am Iron Man.
Stank, stank, stank.
Genius billionaire playboy from the East.
You stank. You stank.
I am Iron Man.